What if you could get a 30-year head start on your health? I mean, really think about that. What if someone else went through decades of trial and error so you don't have to? Well, let's dive into this because that's exactly what we're doing today, distilling one person's 30-year health journey into a powerful shortcut just for you.
That's a pretty powerful statement, right? We're talking about avoiding years of misery, dead-end experiments, and just frustrating symptoms, all by learning directly from someone who's already been through it all. This isn't just some theory from a book. This is hard-won, real-world experience.
So, we're going to unpack some of the biggest health mistakes that were made along the way. And believe me, each one holds a really profound lesson that could completely change how you approach your own well-being. So, let's get right into it. First up is a trap that so many of us fall into. It's this belief that you can fix your health with a handful of pills. We're calling it the supplement illusion.
Okay, I want you to just imagine this for a second. You're suffering from chronic fatigue, you can't sleep, you've got arthritis, and you are so desperate for a fix that you're just driving around, stopping at every health food store and coming out with bags of vitamins. At one point, the source of our story, Dr. Berg, was taking over 100 different vitamins a day, just searching for some kind of magic pill to give him energy.
And here is the absolute crucial lesson. You cannot supplement your way out of a bad diet. It just doesn't work. The flaw, as you can see, was trying to find energy in a bottle. But the real fix? Focusing on nutrient-dense food first. See, supplements can only give you that extra edge if your diet is already solid. The real foundation for energy isn't a pill. It's getting your macronutrients right, especially prioritizing things like animal protein and healthy fats. And this just illustrates the problem so perfectly. All of these symptoms, muscle spasms, terrible insomnia, fatigue, even kidney stones, they were all happening despite taking all those supplements. And why? Because they were all linked to a severe magnesium deficiency that was completely missed in that frantic search for a magic pill. The focus was all on adding more stuff, not fixing the actual foundation. Okay, let's move on to mistake number 2 and see how this all connects. The detox trap. You know the one. This idea that you can just undo all the damage with some short, aggressive cleanse. You know, sometimes you just have to laugh at the extreme things we're willing to do for our health. As part of a gallbladder cleanse, Dr. Berg once drank 12 ounces of olive oil, straight. The result wasn't some miracle cure. He said it basically solidified in his esophagus, and he almost died. It's a funny but pretty powerful example of how misguided these aggressive detoxes can be. Now, what's really interesting here is how this breaks down the typical juice cleanse. You see that really high sugar intake? Cleanses that use stuff like apple juice or maple syrup, they just keep your body running on sugar. And what does that mean? Well, it means fat burning is at 0 and you're hungry all the time. And to make matters worse, you're flushing out all your good electrolytes and minerals. It's basically a recipe for feeling absolutely miserable. The takeaway here is really clear. The flaw is using these aggressive temporary cleanses that often release toxins way too fast and just end up making you sick. The real fix is a consistent, clean eating plan that lets your body's own natural detox systems do their job. So instead of a harsh flush, you support your gut with probiotics and fermented foods. It's all about sustainability, not shock treatment. Okay, this next mistake is a subtle one, but it is one of the most important. It's the symptom mirage, chasing a problem without ever understanding where it's truly coming from. I really want you to think about this for a second. That nagging pain or that persistent issue you have, are you absolutely sure you know the cause? For years, Dr. Berg was totally convinced he had a right shoulder problem. He went to chiropractors, massage therapists, you name it. But the problem? It wasn't in his shoulder at all. This table shows you exactly what was going on. The constant right shoulder pain was actually what's called referred pain. The true source was a gallbladder and liver issue that was creating sludgy bile. The shoulder pain was just a red light on the dashboard, an indicator switch for an internal problem that all the doctors were missing. The lesson here is so profound. Sometimes the symptom is just the messenger, and you have to find the real source of the message. All right, let's move to our final mistake, and it is a big one. It's not just about a single bad choice, but a fundamental misunderstanding of 2 absolutely critical things. Not just what you're eating, but when you're eating it. Just look at this timeline. For so many of us, this is a totally normal day. Breakfast, a mid-morning snack, lunch, an afternoon snack, and maybe something before bed. But here's the problem. Every single time you eat, you raise insulin. Our bodies were just not designed for this constant grazing, and it creates a whole cascade of problems. And this problem was just made worse by a whole history of bad diets. I mean, it started in college with just carbs and coffee, which led to constant fatigue. Then came a vegan diet, which, for his specific body, unfortunately led to some severe gut inflammation. And even the healthy phase of making these massive kale shakes, it backfired because they were loaded with fruit sugar, just keeping that insulin roller coaster going and going.
So, the crucial point here is that fixing the what is only half the battle. The flaw of frequent eating was solved by the fix of intermittent fasting, eating just 1 or 2 meals a day. This allowed his body to become fat adapted, which is basically training it to burn its own fat for fuel, so he wasn't dependent on a constant stream of sugar for energy. And the result? No more fake hunger, and issues like fluid retention, a puffy face, and that stubborn weight just started to resolve by finally getting insulin under control. So you've got these mistakes, the pills, the cleanses, chasing symptoms, and eating all wrong. They all pointed to the same foundational problems. So what was the unifying principle that finally fixed everything? Let's take a look at the breakthrough. The answer really lies in this one word, ketosis. It's just a metabolic state where your body burns fat for fuel instead of carbs. And when you think back, all the previous mistakes, the sugary juice cleanses, the constant snacking, they were actively working against this. They were keeping the body locked in a sugar-burning mode. And this slide right here puts it all together into a clear, actionable plan. Number 1, stop grazing and adopt intermittent fasting. Number 2, prioritize fatty animal protein for fuel and for repair. Number 3, add in a moderate amount of vegetables and fermented foods for your gut health. And finally, get your minerals, like that magnesium that was missing from the very beginning. It's a holistic approach that just honors how our bodies are meant to function. And this is the final, powerful message from this 30-year journey. The time to implement these lessons is right now. You don't have to wait for a health crisis to make a change. These small, foundational shifts can literally save you decades of frustration down the road. So as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this question. After seeing all these lessons learned the hard way over 30 years, what's the one change you know you need to make that you're going to stop putting off starting today?